Welcome back to episode 22 of the Block Runner podcast. I am your host, William, and as always, your boy Iman is with me.
I'm here.
All right. Thank you for coming as usual, Iman.
I got no other choice, Will. This is a true grind.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. I think we want to go over Bitcoin's price, right?
I mean, just
But let's start with this. Last week, the Bitcoin price was 10,800 roughly. That was the price. Now
can you like show where? I don't remember.
Well, I remember because I was watching our video.
Okay,
that's how I remember. But let's go back about a week.
Yeah, I just want to see where we were a week ago. We broke out of that little pattern you drew right last week. We already knew where we kind of like.
Let's go back to the day.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. So it's been a good week.
Yeah,
It's been
definitely
a damn good week.
And it's hit 12,200, and it kind of went down from there. So it met some resistance. But right now, it's been between 11,200 and 12,000.
Like that 11,006 to 11,008 has been like, I don't know, for like the last, I guess, week.
Yeah,
It's been like a favorite range. I'm not sure. You know, right now, who the fuck knows what's going to happen, you know? We're at 12K. We haven't broken, 14K yet, but that's the make or break moment, I guess, once you break 14K.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talk about how it's going to go to 15,000 this week.
I heard a lot of people, yeah. No, I've heard, like, Max Kaiser, you know who that guy is?
Yeah.
He said, like, 15K by the end of this week.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know,
We're
Kaiser.
hearing the same thing, man.
Of course, those are the guys with the loudest voice, right? They have
True.
big platforms and shit. So everything they say, like, top of the headlines, so.
It's possible. It's just, it's Thursday, so.
It's true, man. Like, sometimes weekends go ham for some reason.
Yeah.
But right now it's kind of like
But does it really matter if it goes to 15,000? Nobody cares until after it goes to 20,000.
I don't know, man. If it keeps going, like, if 15K is pretty good, I think that's like a pretty good signal, like, to me at least. Like, this shit isn't going any lower. You know, it's gonna keep making these runs and these little corrections from time to time, but yeah, that's just too bullish,
right?
For me.
Yeah. So obviously now is not the most opportune time to get in, but
I don't know.
The best time to get into Bitcoin was 10 years ago. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it depends on your long-term view. If you think this shit really is going to 1 million, there's never a bad time, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like, I'm telling, dude, don't try and trade this shit.
Yeah, definitely not.
I don't know how many times I've said that. But I have to keep reinforcing it because I myself keep making that mistake, and I just keep crushing myself.
Yeah.
I don't know why. The temptation's too real. I feel like I can like just accumulate more the more I trade, but it usually ends up not working out.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Tough.
Yeah, it's too hard to time the top. I mean, everybody has that problem. That's why they've adopted these sort of standards of kind of best practices to trading.
Mm-hmm.
You wait for the little breakout, and then you go in about right here, and then you wait, you hodl until it loses like 10% of its value, and then you exit.
Yeah.
But that's for traders. We don't recommend anyone to trade. Not at all.
No, I don't think so. I can tell you, honestly, I've made the most of my money in the past just buying and holding what I thought were valuable projects at the time. Yeah,
I mean, after last week and talking about compound, my mind is still blown.
Yeah.
The whole fact that, like you were saying, if DAI had existed in 2017, you would have been all over that compound.
Yeah, because I was looking, like, at the time, I understood Tether existed, and I knew what it was for. It's kind of like a...
Oh, so you didn't use Tether in 2017?
I was always too afraid to, for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Well, it's a scary thing. I mean,
It was, like, there was talk in the town of it being, like, a total scam.
Yeah,
like,
they were manipulating the market.
At any moment, this shit could just go to zero and stuff. So I was like, man, I like the utility of having a stable coin. And, like, especially back in those times when there was so much volatility. Like, I was actively trading, right? So I was going in and out of positions.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's kind of like I would exit an altcoin, enter Bitcoin, but Bitcoin was still super volatile.
Yeah,
that happened to me. Like I sold my EOS position at the very top. I timed the top perfectly. I remember it was like post. Remember that shit show we watched?
It went to $22 pretty soon after the 20 in mid 2018, like March.
Yeah, I know, but I missed that.
Yeah,
I got the first rally like nailed, but I exited into Bitcoin. Of course, I sold my EOS for Bitcoin, and like overnight, Bitcoin like crashed. You know what I mean? So it's like I didn't really make that much profit. You know, so if I would have been smarter back then, and more like
well, if we understood the markets back then, you would have gone into Tether, waited out this bear market, which was roughly 12 to 16, 18 months.
Yeah, man. If anybody had the balls to do that, like
I just waited out
in Tether.
In Tether, yeah. Yeah.
So my only option was to cash out into fiat, and then if anybody listens, they know what kind of nightmare that turns into as far as like taxes and shit.
Right.
But yeah, stable coins are fucking amazing for that purpose. You don't have to. Like you can store your crypto value in a stable crypto, and I guess in the case of DAI or Compound or whatever, you can actually earn interest on. It's pretty hot.
Yeah. Not only that, DAI is a decentralized stable coin. It's not a centralized stable coin like Tether is.
Yeah.
I mean, Tether's promising you a 1-to-1 ratio for $1 to 1 Tether.
Yeah.
But we've already seen Bitfinex dip their hands in Tether assets and resources. So,
yeah, like the story was out there. Everybody knew like who was involved. There's that guy. What's his name? Fuck. I don't want to talk shit about him, but he's like the child molester guy.
Who's that?
Brock Pierce.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit. He's allegations of child molestation.
Yeah, you never heard of all this? Dude,
well,
like
I wasn't following the guy, so I don't know.
Yeah, Brock Pierce. He's like
he's a OG.
OG as fuck. Like early Bitcoin Foundation, whatever. Big investor in Ethereum. He was pretty much part of Block One whenever EOS launched. Like he was out there.
Oh, that's right.
With them, right?
And so they sort of kicked him out, right?
Well, they 100% kicked him out because of these scandalous accusations from his past. Apparently,
makes sense.
There was no confirmation, I don't think, but allegedly he had. This is like 20 years ago or something like that. He's had accusations against him. But I guess that's enough for like people to be like, you gotta stay
these
out of the
days, anything that happens even 20, 30 years ago, it still sticks with you.
I honestly think it was just like a political attack, probably from like Ethereum side. People, like I said, there's tribalistic differences between crypto camps, and they'll do anything to try and devalue another competing platform. Right back then, it was pretty heated between like Ethereum and EOS. Because they're essentially competing against one another. So it's like politics. You got Democrat and Republican. They're fighting, right?
Yep.
Same thing. You got Ethereum. You got EOS, Cardano, whatever the fuck else, Neo,
Lisk.
Yeah, all these competing platforms. You're gonna try to take shots at each other, I guess, to see like who's more superior or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, if I was any one of those companies, I wouldn't give a damn. Like.
Yeah, but for Brock Pierce's case,
it's probably the tribe attacking Brock Pierce.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like the tribe did it.
Yeah.
Like grassroots, probably like some Reddit.
Yeah. Like investigator.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some dude, like a 4chaner or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that totally worked because it sold his reputation. But because his reputation was so tainted, everyone found out he's like associated with Bitfinex and Tether. So it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
This guy has already a shady past.
Yeah.
Apparently. So that's why I didn't trust Tether, But if I would have just ignored my intuition and just gone with it, I would have like.
And there was no other stable coin at the time, right?
Not that I was aware of.
Okay.
It was just Tether at the time, I think. 2017. Yeah, man. I missed that opportunity. But yeah. So that Chico crypto guy, that's his strategy now for the next bull run. Yeah. That's a no-brainer for sure. It's better than Tether.
Yeah, make sure you adopt some exit strategy because we don't know if the top is 100,000. We have no idea. Yeah. It could be 88,000. Yeah. And if you're holding for that 100,000 and it starts dropping down at 88, I mean, you're just going to be in a world of hurt.
Like if you truly believe in crypto so much, like you shouldn't do what I did, like, mass exit it to fiat because then you have to deal with, like I said, taxes. That's pretty much it. It's just taxes. When you take out large sums like that, like in the future, everybody's adopting these stable coins. just keep your crypto value separate from like, real world value. Just keep
government money.
Yeah, keep it in a stable coin. If you ever want to dip into it, take little chunks at a time. You know what I mean? I think that's the safer route.
Yeah.
But that's just me. I can't tell y'all what to do with your money. I wouldn't want to do that.
Well, I found an interesting piece of nugget earlier today.
A nugget, eh?
And I want to show you
this nugget.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to show you this little video. And by the way, the person that painted that for us, I want to thank. You should follow her on Twitter at Dahlia A. Garza. She did a fantastic job of, I guess, mimicking our logo and put a little yellow in there. It looks awesome.
It's pretty dope, don't it?
Yeah, thank you very much, Dahlia.
Oh, yeah. Dahlia, you're a beast, for sure. You also cook a mean meatball. All right.
But check this out. So I want to play this 7-minute video. Hopefully, I think it's kind of early on here.
Bitcoin bulls are back. Yeah. Look, we're about a year out from that. And then the other thing I'd say is I think that the trade war actually has a little bit to do with it, right? This idea.
So here's
that
where
Pompliano
is talking to Kevin O'Leary.
You look at
how did this guy get so popular, man?
And I think that there's some kind of safety.
I'm
not sure.
Though, if this trade war gets solved, does Bitcoin go down?
It could, right? I think that the big thing here is if you look at the macro trend, Bitcoin has seen 3 drawdowns over 80% in its lifetime in the last decade, but it is the best performing asset. And one of the corollaries I draw is if you look at Amazon stock, right? So Amazon's drawn down over 90% twice. The intra-year drawdown is over 30% on average, right? So it's a pretty volatile stock in that sense. Bitcoin's done very similar things, but what it continues to do is set new yearly lows, right? So don't look at the highs, look at the lows. And again, it's just supply and demand. If you have a scarce asset and demand increases.
Mr. Wonderful thinks it's worthless.
Well,
He called it garbage this morning.
I want to explore the idea. I did say that.
So listen to what Kevin O'Leary says, Mr. Wonderful.
There's nothing here except raw speculation. No different than when I go to Las Vegas and put my money on black or red on a roulette wheel, because where is the intrinsic value inherent in deploying real capital, let's talk real money here, and putting it into Bitcoin as a storage of value? I get gold. For 2,000 years, including the Romans, they saw value in owning that as an asset class. Tell me why this, which is basically a digital game, that's the way I look at it, has any intrinsic value. When people actually put real money into this, they make no interest, they can't pay their taxes with it, the regulators don't like it, which is always a problem for compliance. And where's the long-term value? Just this idea that they're going to cut the number of units in half, such a scam. Like, that's just totally BS.
So I would say 2 things. One is it's disruptive technology. So if you look at it from a technology standpoint.
But that also has an odor of BS to it.
Look, everything that's new seems different, right, in the beginning. And I think what you've got to realize is with Bitcoin specifically, money is a belief system. So the US dollar, the only reason why you and I use it is because we believe it has value. So if I give you $1, you give me a good or service in exchange. Right. We believe that it has value. Bitcoin has value because 2 people who exchange it believe it has that value. And what we're seeing is the volume, right? Look at people using it. That's ultimately what matters.
What about all the other crypto crap? There's lots of other coins.
I believe Bitcoin is the king and is going to stay the king for a very long time.
So I taught a class at Harvard 18 months ago that young people in that class challenged me. I put $100 into something called Coinbase, which is a wallet thing. And
you buy Bitcoin?
I bought them all.
See that?
I bought all the crypto crap.
So
this, I put $100 in.
This
it's
occurred
now worth 30.
Pretty recently, right?
May 14th, 2019.
This is like,
crap.
yeah, when
Now,
Bitcoin first started popping out.
Yeah, it was like, right now it was $8,000.
People should understand today the hot digital is Bitcoin. Tomorrow it could be whatever, right?
Again, I think that Bitcoin, the reason why Bitcoin is getting so much attention, it's the best performing asset in the last decade. Right, it's drastically outperformed S&P, every other kind of financial asset that's out there. And the second thing is the institutions are coming in because Bitcoin is actually a better store of value. It's more transparent and more secure. So regulators, they actually like Bitcoin in the sense of law enforcement can track criminal activity. Right, every single transaction is done on a public ledger.
I'm not sure the law enforcement loves Bitcoin.
I've interviewed a DA agent who came on, and they would love for criminals to use Bitcoin over U.S. dollars and cash, right? It's much more traceable. And so what law enforcement is saying is they want these digital currencies used, Bitcoin specifically, because of the public nature of the transactions, easier to track the criminal activity.
After the fact.
After the fact, yeah, of course. Well, U.S. dollars, you can't track it before or after.
Last time this had a big run up to 20,000 and people started talking about assets with it, the SEC was handing out subpoenas like birthday cards.
They were doing it for the ICOs. So ICOs are essentially.
So I wanna get an assessment from you, Iman. What's your what do you evaluate Kevin Leary's kind of approach to crypto? Like what do you think he thinks about it?
Well, he obviously doesn't understand anything when it comes to technology behind it.
Right.
You know, he's still focusing. Him and a lot like Peter Schiff. You have to watch that debate between this motherfucking guy, Pomp. Yeah. Peter Schiff. They're part of the same clan, man. They have the same attachment to. They keep on bringing
like
up the
physicality.
Same, the physicality. Yeah, it's like no, not tangible. Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
You know, so it's harder for him to understand, I guess, and also he has personal interest in like existing store of like gold. Just like Peter Schiff, he has a whole company that needs gold to profit from. And I think Kevin O'Leary's probably in the same camp. I don't know.
So he doesn't really believe in crypto, so to speak.
They probably don't think that there's a problem, man. These guys are part of the establishment, right?
Yeah.
They're part of the.
They're making money from the establishment.
They're basically billionaires. Maybe not that rich, but
yeah.
Somebody who's in that position is not going to be like, fuck, man, let's end this and transition to a whole new decentralized world because they're profiting off of this.
Yeah, but if they're as intelligent as they think they are, and they would see an asset like Bitcoin performing as well as it is, you would think that they would, start shoveling some of their portfolio into Bitcoin.
Like a speculation?
Just like, speculation, like it could go 1,000x or it could crash, but it doesn't matter because it's only 1 or 2% of your portfolio.
Yeah, like Peter Schiff's a perfect example that he's known about Bitcoin pretty much since the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like he had the opportunity to buy like $10 Bitcoins because even back then when a Bitcoin was $10, he was calling it, a bubble, a scam.
Yeah.
And I don't think I honestly don't believe he never bought any.
You don't think so?
I don't. No, I'm pretty sure like he's bought some.
Yeah.
Dude, with the amount of money, he can't be that like stubborn to his ideology to like not even. He's a millionaire. Why not take like a few $10 grand? That's nothing to him. Why would he just
to buy one Bitcoin?
Yeah, if he had that opportunity, maybe even after like, I don't know,
$100, $200.
Yeah, something. But like I said, he has personal interest in the gold market. He needs that to flourish because that's his business.
That's what pays the bills.
But what's the apprehension?
But you're sensing that, right? He's hesitating on like cryptocurrency, right?
Well, he's like trashing it. Actually, he's not hesitating. He's actively like talking shit, calling it crypto garbage and all this stuff. And
well, I ask you because I'm going to set you up for an interesting video here. Another one. This happened in April 11th, 2013.
Yeah.
The internet currency we've talked about on this program, if you follow it yesterday, you'll know it lost 60% of its value. This was just after it hit a record high of $266.
And look at this intelligent man
come back up again.
Explain cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin.
Only $20. And now, as you heard, it's huge. All of that volatility in the value of Bitcoins has some economists wondering if there is a Bitcoin bubble and if Bitcoins really have a future as a currency. Kevin O'Leary is our business commentator and the chair of O'Leary Funds.
That was Mt. Gox.
Nice to see you in studio again this morning. Number, what's going on?
Who's this intelligent man?
Huge rise from $20 way up into the hundreds, and then
that's going to talk about crypto.
Yesterday.
Well, let's remember that until yesterday, most people around the world never heard of Bitcoin. Bitcoin, for those who don't know it, is basically virtual currency, the same that you get for blasting aliens in a video game, except now traded globally. You can buy Bitcoins with virtually any currency on Earth and convert back into any currency or buy goods and services with it.
Well, we talked about the story. What really got us talking about Bitcoin was the guy in Edmonton who was selling his house for the first time, wanted 400,000 in Bitcoins.
So I think the best way to look at this is a proxy for the mistrust individuals have of central bankers. If you're willing to take Bitcoin as a currency, a virtual Barbie currency to me, it has no basis, no central banker, no hard asset behind it. But if you don't trust any other currency, this is where you go. So it's essentially what's happening here, Heather. People all around the world are saying, I've had it with my central banker. I don't trust politicians anymore. I'm going to trade with this currency with my computer and my cell phone.
Well, they did that. The reason the Bitcoin shot up was after Cyprus, when they thought the government was going to get the hands on the money in the banks. So people turned to Bitcoins to keep them protected. So
I ignore everything till it gets to $1 billion of market cap.
Okay.
That happened recently with Bitcoin, well over $1 billion in value. So it's here to stay.
Right now
You've
is 200
accumulated
billion.
a virtual worth of $1 billion, and people are willing to trade it and actually buy things with it, turn it back into hard assets. And here's the key, Heather. Owners of hard assets are willing to take Bitcoin. This is here to stay. That's what's going to happen. And no central banker can control it.
But you just called it a Barbie currency. I was going to say, is it all hocus pocus? I mean, is it a legitimate form of currency to trade?
It is. And as soon as it passed $1 billion and someone bought a hard asset with it, in my books, as an investor, it became real. Now, at the same time, because relative to all other currencies, it's tiny. $1 billion is irrelevant in the currency market. Remember, the currency markets are the largest markets on earth, bigger than commodities, bigger than stocks, bigger than bonds. It's going to grow, but it's going to take a long time. But the key is volatility. Nobody's going to put a large part of their net worth into this thing because it can go up and down 60% in a day, as we saw yesterday. But is it here to stay? Oh, yeah. So will I take 2 or 3% in Bitcoins? I think I might. I'm going to start looking at it.
Are you really?
Well, goddamn.
You think he did it?
Well, yeah. Hell yeah, dude. He
said 2 or 3%. Dude, that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, at freaking $60. So I looked up April 11th, roughly. It's around $60 Bitcoin price.
When he was talking about that.
Yeah.
And if you put 2 or 3% of his net worth or his portfolio, I'm assuming it's like hundreds of millions of dollars is worth.
Yeah, I say $1 million maybe.
Do the math, dude. Do 100. Okay, I can do it in my head, right? 2% of 100 million is what? 2 million.
2 million
divided by 60. Dude, no, I don't think he's.
No, he probably didn't go 2 million. Maybe put 10,500.
Oh, but he said 2 or 3%.
Yeah, I know, but 2 or 3% of a portfolio of $1 million portfolio.
Nah, dude, this guy's worth way more.
No, I know, but the portfolio, he might have like a portfolio of only $10 million investments when he's worth, $500 million.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, it's any amount of money at $60 is going to yield a lot of money right now.
Yeah.
But why is he talking up Bitcoin in 2013 when it was $60 and talking down Bitcoin when it's $8,000?
I don't know. What are your theories on that?
Well, I'm thinking he's trying to keep the price low so he can continue accumulating. I mean, that's.
So you think he's just been buying all along?
Well,
he's
yeah,
just hiding it from the public.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not him personally, but his financial manager, yeah.
Or I don't know. I mean, fuck.
I mean, what would be the reason to talk down Bitcoin when you were talking it up
I guess
6 years ago?
I don't know, for the program, I guess, just to be the devil's advocate in the room.
Probably.
Because like at CNBC, they have a pretty
we need
sizable hard-on for
maybe the producer was like, I need you to talk down Bitcoin because so far everybody has been talking it up.
Yeah, so all these anchors on CNBC, they really, if they don't like it, like there's like one dude, he's always on there. You saw him, the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
He's like the crypto expert out of them, but usually when he talks about stuff, everybody listens.
Yeah.
And they're not like, oh, this is bullshit. But they need somebody in that program to be like,
Yeah, devil's advocate.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he really believes in what he's saying, but
I don't think so.
He's not a dumb man.
No, of course not.
At all. I mean, I don't think he said anything. He didn't say anything. He didn't really address the technology at all, even in this video. He just said, just acknowledged the fact that people are
using it and exchanging it for goods and services.
Yeah.
Which is the premise of any fiat currency, right? We believe that it has value and therefore we use it.
And he understood at that time, and I'm pretty sure he still understands now, like the purpose of it is like the anti-banking, anti-establishment currency.
Yeah.
Like he pretty much said it perfectly. If you don't have trust in today's system of finance, then buy Bitcoin. It's literally the best way you can fight against it.
Yeah, right.
Adopt this free currency.
So it was this guy, Tom, who kind of discovered this video 2 days ago.
Yeah, what does he say, though? Like, what is he speculating or what?
He says, look here.
Oh, like well, pretty much what you said. Like, he's just been hoarding Bitcoins, and now he's trying to spread FUD.
Yeah, basically, he's quoting Kevin O'Leary, and he says, will I take 2 to 3% in Bitcoin? I think I might. I'm going to start looking into it. And then, so here's the link to that video.
Yeah, because like every investor has like their speculative portion of their portfolios, right? You know, they have their solid. The majority of their portfolio is probably like in solid, not so volatile assets like real estate, bonds. Yeah, maybe stocks qualify for that, but every investor has at least like 5 to 10%, I think, of their portfolio to speculate.
Yeah, speculative.
You know, that little chunk of your portfolio could eventually turn into something massive.
Yeah, for sure. And so when I first saw this video, I was kind of shocked. I was like, well, would Kevin O'Leary be talking up Bitcoin in 2013 and then all of a sudden start talking it down? And I was thinking, like, maybe this is a deep fake. Like somebody made this video. Yeah. So this was before I actually went to this thread and started like reading through. And other people had the same kind of guess or thoughts.
Which part would be the deep fake? From
him talking about Bitcoin
in 2013
in
or
2013. Yeah.
So you think that might have been fake, but there's record of that, isn't there? Like that video was posted in 2013.
Well, yeah, no, it was posted in 2013.
Yeah, before deep fakes were a thing. Like
True.
Deep fakes are a thing today. So,
well, it could have been. You can manipulate like when things are posted. Like you can.
I don't think so.
At least visually, you could say that it was posted in 2013. So there's a chance that it could have been a deepfake. But I found this tweet by Thomas Schulz, and I clicked on this link, and it brought me to this other Twitter thread of actually, let's go to it, where people are talking about Kevin O'Leary's discussion. Kevin O'Leary and his perspective on Bitcoin on CBC interview, which is in Canada. Kevin O'Leary on CBC and his interesting perspective on Bitcoin. April 11, 2013.
God damn, what the hell happened there with the boat? That's where
I don't know.
Just one hell of a fire. So this is proof of what I'm saying then.
Kevin O'Leary, Bitcoin is here to stay.
Like, you can't manipulate that, can you?
No, you can't. This you can't. I mean, this is a...
You can't manipulate YouTube either, can you? Like, there's a date to every YouTube video.
Yeah, but...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, still. But that was on a website. This is just a
that
CBC
wasn't even
website.
YouTube?
That wasn't YouTube.
Oh, I thought that was YouTube.
Yeah.
There's no YouTube.
I mean, it says posted April 11, 2013, but this data here can be manipulated.
I guess.
So anyway, one of my thoughts was like maybe this is fake, right?
Yeah, okay.
But then I found this guy Thomas Schulz.
Yeah.
And he had the same thought, or people were thinking the same thing, and man, people were talking about it in 2013 when this was posted.
Oh yeah. So why do you think if somebody were to deepfake that, what would be the reason for it? Like,
just to make him look bad.
Oh yeah, just like an attack on him.
Yeah, just an attack.
Like, you fucking liar.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, because think about it. If, a lot of people start watching this video and they start comparing 2013 version of Kevin O'Leary to 2019 version, there's a difference. Like, he's talking up Bitcoin, then he's talking down Bitcoin.
But he wasn't
it's being manipulative.
Yeah.
How can you believe in the same stuff that we believe in 2019 and then all of a sudden not like Bitcoin?
But even in that 2013 discussion, he wasn't that positive about it. He called it fucking Barbie money or something like that.
Yeah, but he was thinking about going in 2%.
Yeah, just because he recognized that.
He recognized that $1 billion people were starting to trade it. Right?
Exactly. So
now that it's $200 billion, all of a sudden it's crap.
I have to watch that 2019 or 2018 whatever, or 2019 interview again.
Yeah, I mean, he calls it crap here.
Yeah, he called it crypto garbage or something like that. Yeah. And like it's all purely speculative, which, I mean, dude, it's kind of true.
It is speculative, but you're talking about a $200 billion asset which 6 years ago was $1 billion.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean the whole train ride has been all based on speculation, but that doesn't mean it's ever going to end. But in their mind, they're more cautious because there's been plenty of tales from the past, tales from history of like speculative bubbles that occurred, such as like the tulip mania, something about like the railroad bubble or something like that.
Yeah,
bunch of bubbles.
The oil is another one.
Oil?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, it's like the prices are inflating.
Yeah, but that was due to like, I don't know, conflict, I think, or something.
True.
I'm not sure, but I'm not a macro guy. But so I've been hearing these fuckers saying like, you know, once the Bitcoin bubble pops, it's just gonna go to zero and like everyone's gonna forget about it. But it doesn't look like that's happening. You know.
I don't see how that could ever happen.
Well, again, like they like to look at history. That's why they worship gold so much, right? Because of the historical context of gold.
Shit,
you know,
if anything's gonna pop, it's that value.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Don't do it.
Well, it'll take a while. It'll take a while before gold goes down.
I thought we've already agreed like multiple times. Gold and Bitcoin are not enemies.
Yeah, but but the value of gold is not. Its current value is not its true value. That's what my argument is. Right now, it's $1,500, but is gold really worth $1,500? No, it's not. It is not worth $1,500.
It is because somebody will buy it for that amount.
No, okay.
Just
so
like
when
Bitcoin.
you're talking about pure economics, it's worth $1,500 because somebody will buy it for $1,500. But its true value, meaning what can you do with gold, like, has no purpose other than dental.
But you can't make that argument because Bitcoin has no true value itself.
Its only existence is to trade. That's the only existence of Bitcoin. Like that's its only purpose is to be tradable across the globe.
That's what it was intended to be, but that's not what it's being used for. Right now, I think everybody likes to tout like I've been like Bitcoin's. I think it just hit like $1 billion in like transaction fees or something recently.
That's right. Yeah,
just broke that threshold. So everyone's like, "Yay, Bitcoin's doing great." He's like, "How many people are using it?" No, dude, it's just people, swapping Bitcoin with each other for speculative purposes. That's like I'm
for goods.
Probably like dude. It's probably like 98% of it is just from
10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. Come on.
That was a long fucking
time. It doesn't matter.
It
still counts. It still counts.
Yeah, but the transaction fees were like peanuts back then.
That's true.
Like these big transaction fees are from today, and today, Bitcoin. See, yeah, man, you can't trash gold's like true value. Because it actually has some true use cases that Bitcoin doesn't
Legacy use cases, yes.
Yeah. Like you're the one who points them out. They're, in technology and electronics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's got its uses.
And once the price goes down, they'll be used more in technology.
But the price isn't going down. Because that's not the main value proposition of gold. We already know why people...
If you were to pick one asset to hold for infinity... What asset?
No, so
just pick any out of the million assets that exist on the planet right now today.
Okay, let's say so the United States had to plant one of those. What are they called? Like those little ground things where you like plant a tube
like a
in
time capsule.
Yeah. And then what would you put in it for like future civilizations? Like I don't know, to represent the
purpose of that capsule being valued the highest that it could possibly be valued. That's the purpose of this capsule and this, kind of.
What represents our humanity's vision of wealth, like greater than anything else?
No, because that's not the question that I'm trying to ask.
You don't know what's going to happen in the future. Then, so if you,
I'm saying right now, if you were to pick one asset,
gold
for infinity, you would pick gold. If a rock, you would pick a rock.
Yeah, only because
for infinity.
Yeah, you know what's different about what happened? Imagine if like the grid goes down or something like that. We've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with a rock?
Well, no, the rock maintains its value, but Bitcoin.
I know, but what are you going to do with it in an apocalypse?
You're going to exchange it.
Nobody's going to want your rock, right? They're going to want like tangible, like real assets, like a house.
That is an asset. Dude. No, it's been an asset for tens of.
Yeah, but you can't do anything with it. You can't do anything with it.
You trade it. we don't trade it anymore because of this paper fiat currencies that we have. But we historically, that's what people use to trade. Well, if not gold and other metals, silver, they use copper, nickel, stuff like that. Cheaper, less precious metals. They have value, dude, and they always have. But the big daddy, of course, is gold.
Well, the reason why metals have had value is because of its scarcity and difficulty to mine.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, if the only reason they have value is because of scarcity and difficulty to mine, what is more scarce and more difficult than Bitcoin? It's not gold.
Okay.
There is nothing more scarce and more difficult to mine than Bitcoin.
Yeah, okay, I agree with that.
So the biggest computational network that has ever existed isn't Bitcoin.
Okay.
And that network only exists to mine Bitcoin.
But you use the time you said infinity.
Yeah, I'm talking about infinity.
I know metals are going to exist for infinity,
but
for sure. I don't know the internet network is going to last for infinity.
The metals will exist for infinity, right? Disregarding like physics and all that. It'll last for infinity. Yes. But what I'm talking about is value. How valuable will a piece of gold be compared to something compared to Bitcoin?
Well, okay, assuming like nothing happens, of course Bitcoin is going to have more value if the grid never goes down, the internet stays the way it is, and
even so, the internet going down, that's a fringe case because humans will always need some way to communicate with each other, whether you call it the internet or you call it telepathic communication, because we're cyborgs now. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need the internet. It just needs a way to communicate data to each other. So Bitcoin can exist with or without the internet is what I'm trying to say.
I disagree. You know what I would fucking hold, actually? I'd hold water for infinity. That's the most valuable resource on Earth.
Yeah, to stay alive. But I'm talking about, like...
Dude, who knows? In some scenario in the future, we run out of, like, drinkable water. That shit could be more valuable than gold in the future. People
for sure.
Die off. Who knows?
If you're dying and you have... a little Ledger Nano with like 10 Bitcoins and, future, infinity.
Say some fucking crazy war happens. It polluted most of the world's like drinkable water.
So you have that ledger and then you have a cup of water and you're starving and you're like dying.
Yeah.
Of course.
That water.
That water is way more valuable.
Yeah.
Right. But
I think there's more like scenarios because you're saying, infinity, man. You're leaving yourself. Infinity means like any scenario is possible.
Yeah. I guess an infinity could mean that there's something way better than Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But, if you were to pick one today is what I'm talking about, today.
But, okay, if you're picking an asset from today, then you can't, then...
It's like your fry from Futurama, right?
Yeah.
You get stuck into that little...
Okay, so that's like 1,000 years, right?
1,000 years.
It went from like the year 2000 to 3000 or something like that.
Yeah.
That cryo chamber.
And then he had like 35 cents in his bank account 1,000 years ago, and then he ended up being a millionaire.
But wasn't it like Peanuts still in their time or something like that?
I don't remember, but it was
either.
It was.
I remember that episode. Like,
yeah,
he was just really rich, right, or something like that.
He was really rich,
and then I don't know, got a jacked by like some old lady or something like that.
Yeah, something.
Dude, that was a classic episode, though. Dude, I need to rewatch those shows.
And like the interest rate was like tiny, but after 1,000 years, it was a lot of money.
That's crazy. But so
anyway,
why did we get on
I
this
don't
topic?
know. I don't know why we got into this topic again.
Where did that even come from?
I
think it was just you shitting on gold, and I was just like trying to.
Well, I think we were talking about I don't remember now, but Kevin O'Leary, like him switching kind of like stances on crypto, it's saying a lot about him because if you were to watch these two videos, like he says one thing, he says another thing in another video 6 years apart, like he's got to be trying to manipulate something, or it could be just a show. Like this could be simple producers saying, "Hey, we need a guy to shit on Bitcoin.
Yeah,
you're the best guy to kind of like talk shit."
That's true.
So just talk shit.
That's kind of like his persona too.
Yeah.
He's like the brash guy.
Yeah,
like
the devil's advocate for everything.
Yeah, he'll speak his mind, and he'll be crude and offensive and all that stuff.
But probably when you get Kevin O'Leary in a room and you're like his good buddy, he'd be talking good about Bitcoin. It's like, if you don't have Bitcoin, then what the hell are you doing? How are you consider yourself an investor?
I don't know if he'll say all of that. There's just a lot more spectrum to the investing community than just Bitcoin. There's like some serious shit out there.
At least one, if you don't have 1% in Bitcoin, how are you consider yourself an investor?
I don't know, dude. But that's the thing. It's still early to the point where you don't have to have your mind made up yet, because we're not at that stage. There's supposed to be people like this, like
for sure,
resistant against Bitcoin, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah,
that's how you know it's something that actually matters, because there's people who are like passionately opposed to it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, people would just like disregard it, like that's bullshit. They used to, but nowadays people are like fighting. There's people who are getting like passionately against the idea of Bitcoin and stuff. I don't know. I guess because it's becoming more mainstream because of like Libra, and like today people are talking about it. They're talking about it now because gold is surging.
CNBC. I mean, they talk about it on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's because of the 2017 bull market. Like they couldn't ignore it back then because of its fucking ridiculous run up in price. And I remember they used to have like a ticker down at the bottom all day long tracking the price of Bitcoin because it was amazing to them, right? This asset is just blowing through all barriers and shit. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And they're doing it for ratings, of course, because back then everyone wanted to find out, what is this Bitcoin thing, right? They wanted to figure out what it is and how to get invested in it.
Yeah.
So it was good for the ratings. That's why we started this whole podcast. We're hoping one day that shit returns.
Yeah.
Whenever Bitcoin hits that next bubblish cycle, we're anticipating there's to be a lot more people looking for crypto information, right? So that's the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Set ourselves up for that opportunity. Right now, retail's not there. Nobody cares.
Yeah, and so that's a scary part because the institutions are accumulating, right? They know what they're doing.
I don't know.
And how else do you explain the price going up if retail is not in?
Yeah, but how much has gone up? Like
3,000,
like 50 billion market cap total or something like that, like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like
but we're talking about portfolios that are just putting in 1%.
Yeah, right. But like 1% of like a fucking institutional firm is like
$50 billion.
But there's
altogether.
Tons,
altogether $50 billion, which is not a whole lot of money. I agree with that.
Yeah. So I don't know if institutional money is in or not. There might be like little specks of it here and there.
Oh, it's definitely in, dude.
I don't think so, dude.
It's definitely in.
Not yet, man. They'll FOMO in too. Like institutions FOMO. I remember 2017, a lot of them did. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like I said, the conversation today is, again, Bitcoin is getting more in limelight exposure because of the gold run up. And there's reasons behind this,
Oh yeah, that's that's a good segue to this.
Well, yeah, because me and you always argue about this whole store of value. Like, I still don't understand why you're so opposed to gold when it's obviously working as a store of value, because there's a lot of speculation out there.
Well, Bitcoin is only 10 years old. Gold is only 2,000 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, at least.
So if you're like an institutional guy, old money, which is where most of this money is, it's in old hands. You're gonna position your wealth into a trusted.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I'm not saying gold is not a good store of value. Not a good store of value today. It is.
It's amazing. I can vouch for it. It's doing great.
But if you play out this game long enough, the $1,500 price of gold will go down because there are better alternatives to gold. That's what I'm saying. Like
maybe
the attributes that make gold valuable have competitors now that do a better gold than what gold is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, in order for your scenario to happen, I understand it's pretty much like the MySpace Facebook thing. Gold is the MySpace.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is the Facebook. Superior technology always outperforms and crushes whatever came before it.
Yeah.
That's the way the world goes. So in order for that to happen, I guess like a whole generation of people have to understand that difference and completely reject the idea of gold, We'll see.
You know, it got me thinking about Fry. Man, that'd be
Again?
It'd be badass to jump in 1,000 years from now and
Yeah.
see what things look like.
Yeah, no shit, right? Then if you come back from there, you fucking richest man in the world. You just invest in everything you saw.
Oh yeah, but
1,000 years into the future.
Shit, that'd probably be Bitcoin.
Dude, 1,000 years is a long time, man.
Yeah, it is.
I don't even think we're gonna make it there, honestly.
You don't think so?
Dude, I think Bitcoin is the one world currency that the Bible prophesized about. I'm not even fucking joking, bro. I'm not even kidding. Well, I want you to hear me out about this. I think we're in the last days of civilization. I'm backed up by Stephen motherfucking Hawking, dude.
Dude, no, negatory.
Yes, he thinks we have before he passed away. He said it, his own words, dude. Like the chances of humanity outlasting another century, very low in his mind.
Well, the probability, yes, is low because we got countries starting to develop the U-235 uranium, 235.
Everybody wants nukes.
Yeah.
Like they're literally everybody's working on it.
What the reason why he bets on humanity destroying itself is because the probability is high.
Yeah.
Because you got uneducated, unaware countries developing this technology.
Well, I'm sure they're educated and aware. It's just what can they do? The whole purpose of like countries, I guess, we're competing against one another. Nobody wants to see the United States number one forever. Like if you're the leader of China, your job is to become that new number one nation. So your job is to compete.
That's where I think they're unaware. You compete with technology, right? You're not competing with nuclear weapons anymore because it's mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
You launch a nuke anywhere in the world now, you're going to receive 10 more in your own backyard. Like, why would you? It's pointless unless they're the equivalent of the Walmart shooter who doesn't care if they die or not.
Yeah, and there's countries out there,
and I'm sure there is, but I would think it takes a lot of people pushing buttons to launch a nuke than it does for one person to pull a trigger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
but the probability is there, and
it's
not just nukes either.
I agree with Stephen Hawking. The probability is high that we will not exist in 1,000 years because of our self-destruction. Mm-hmm. But my belief, this is where I have my own beliefs, is that humanity will persevere through that phase, and we will, live through that.
It doesn't mean we go completely extinct. Humans are pretty good at adapting.
Yeah.
I don't know what that, end of world scenario will be like, but it'll definitely kill off probably the large majority of people. Yeah, I don't know. They have to like hide in caves or some shit.
Through what means? Like nuclear?
I don't know, nuclear, or maybe like some kind of
nuclear would be the only thing to wipe out like a mass amount of people.
What about like a virus?
Like Chernobyl?
Like that.
See, that's dangerous.
Yeah. Apparently, like, there's a lot of people saying all these antibiotics and stuff we're doing, or we use antibiotics for fucking everything.
It's
if you get sick
super
or
viruses.
Yeah, if we get sick, go to the doctor, they prescribe you the antibiotics. So over time, these viruses and bacteria, they're becoming resistant to our current drugs.
Yeah,
and then they're going to pass on those genetics to other viruses down the line, and eventually we won't be immune to them anymore. If that shit ever happens, then fuck. So that's another possibility.
Yeah, antibiotics. It's you can't avoid it because if you eat any meat, for the most part, you pick a random piece of meat, it's gonna have antibiotics and steroids and all kinds of shit in it. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
and then we disinfect everything, and I don't know. That's just and then all our artificial intelligence. Who knows where that road leads us? I just think
now that's dangerous. Yeah. So we got nuclear, we got biological warfare, and we got artificial intelligence, which is humans killing themselves as efficiently as a nuclear weapon.
Or who the fuck knows what global warming is going to do to us?
Shit, global warming? God damn, dude.
Exactly. We have so many guns pointed at us, right?
Yeah, this is very bleak.
Or like the economy's under potential collapse. We haven't even talked about that yet, but we will about the economy. Dude. Like our whole financial system could literally just. But that's why we're talking about crypto, because that's supposed to save us from that. But anyways, yeah, man, I don't have that belief that
I really don't think about this too often. But you're right. There's a lot of guns pointed at us right now.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's
probably the most we've ever had in the history of humanity.
Yeah, and the reason why is because, we're accelerating technology, but us as we're still primal fucking creatures. Our brains haven't done any evolving.
Yeah.
So can we responsibly
generate technology
or be responsible? With great power comes great responsibility. All that gay shit.
Okay, calm down, Spider-Man.
I thought that was Superman. No,
that's Spider-Man.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean, man. I don't know. All it takes is like one ridiculous fuck up. There's already so much world tension right now.
Yeah,
with this trade war escalating. Dude, every time like trade wars in history, that always leads to war. I feel like when countries are imposing tariffs.
Well, what happened was the United States devalued the dollar so it can compete better, right? And then China, they devalued their currency as well.
Or I think it was because the United States imposed a tariff on Chinese goods.
But if you devalue your dollar, those goods with tariffs are cheaper.
But yeah, that's what China's. I guess they're so essentially they're manipulating their currency to compensate for these tariffs, right? And it's kind of like
which always helps Bitcoin because it's not $100,000 Bitcoin in 2 years from now. It's 250, whatever it is. I saw another prediction. It was 300K. It's like just keeps going.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, I'm in the camp like if shit really does, if the next bull cycle mimics what we saw in 2017.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 200 to 250K, something like that. And then people will fucking, naturally sell off and just go like, all right, this is it.
Yeah, but I think $100,000.
I think
$100,000 is like that breaking point for people.
Well, that's that mental barrier. Yeah. Just like 10,000 was, but it just shot right through that bitch. But nobody was expecting 20K to be the top. That's the thing. Because everyone was expecting that I don't know, like I said, 10,000, 100, 1,000, a million. For some reason in our brains, that number is just that's a good stopping point. Yeah. For some reason, I don't know, we're just.
It's a good stopping point. But you're right. The thing is, we say $100,000, but it could easily be $88,000 the top.
That's true.
And if you're actually waiting for $100,000 to
fucking
hit that sell button, you're just gonna.
That's why it's best to always take out chunks of profit along the way.
That's right.
10% here, 10% there. You don't want to hodl all the way. Dude, fuck hodling.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
You could hodl.
When it comes down to it, exiting and paying taxes is way better than losing 80% of your portfolio.
Yeah, as long as you exit and then rebuy, after these bear market cycles too.
Yeah.
But that's hard to do, man. Hodling works, for the guys who bought $10 Bitcoin. They're still hodling on.
Oh, for sure.
These Winklevoss fuckers, I'm sure they haven't sold maybe they sell a little bits here and there, but
dude, they got financial managers that sell at the right time and
exactly. Well, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's like, all right, we just 10x this portfolio. Let's just sell and just wait because it's gonna go down.
Yeah. Fuck.
So this guy Raw Paul,
Bitcoin's one world currency.
Prophesized
in the Bible.
Did you want to finish that thought there?
I don't really. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm not a diehard Christian or anything like that. But back in the day when I was, there's a point in my life where I was, I guess, coerced by fear into Christianity in a way.
By who?
By the book itself. There's a chapter at the very end of the Bible called Revelations that is the most grim chapter of all, because the whole purpose of that chapter, I guess, is to tell you what happens, if you don't believe in what was everything else in the book. You basically go and whatever the fuck. And it also makes predictions about the end of times and what's going to happen. That God's going to come down and zap all the good people off of the planet called the rapture, and all the fucking bad, sinful people are going to stay here and suffer for years, and it's going to be pestilence. It's going to be just hell on earth for 7 years or something like that. So that scared me. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
My natural instinct was,
was to what?
Was to believe. So I can get raptured and saved. But so one of those predictions, there's tons of other predictions that kind of lay out what the end times are going to look like culturally, yada yada yada. But one of them was there's going to be a one world government, a one world currency, et cetera, et cetera. So, you know what? If there is a candidate for that, because we've already kind of agreed, like this does feel maybe like end times in a way, because there's a lot of danger out there, and like or culturally, like just like.
By the way, every generation
chaos.
Feels like it's end times.
True.
Every single one.
I know, but we just agreed that like it feels like.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's always
the technology we're coming up with now is actually capable of ending humanity. That was never the case.
Yeah, but that has no attributions to a book that's only 2,000 years old.
You don't know that. Well, I'm just saying that one of the stipulations was a one world currency, and I thought of that like, dude, this is it, Bitcoin.
Well, okay, so you can spin a lot of realities and make it fit into a narrative.
Agreed,
right?
100%.
So, say for example, you talk about a one world government.
Yeah.
Maybe that one world government is a decentralized government that's completely democratized, and we vote on everything.
Dude, I think
tariffs. That is a one world government.
That can totally happen.
And it's not this 1984 government that's, holding the man down.
Remember
Orwell, 1984?
I never read that book.
Okay. It's not this bleak future when you have a one world government, right? Because it could be completely decentralized and it could be democratized, free, everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no more borders, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. Obviously, we can see Bitcoin being a one world currency, but do we really believe Bitcoin is going to be a one world currency? No, it's going to be a bunch of currencies tied to one Bitcoin.
Yeah, but I guess if that's the case, then it's essentially.
And if you want to talk about
gold,
if you want to talk about a one world currency, the world's reserve currency is what right now?
What, the dollar?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we already have that one world currency.
That's the reserve, but not everybody's exchanging dollars.
Everybody accepts dollars. Everybody.
Yeah, but every country has their own currency.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like in the future, Bitcoin is not going to be. Nobody's going to be trading Bitcoin when it's $10 million, right, per Bitcoin.
We can. It can be not trading Bitcoin, but like a Bitcoin stable coin. Everybody's using that same currency.
Yeah, but then you're using a stable coin to tie to Bitcoin.
Yeah,
kind of like we're using
that, and that stable coin will be the one world currency. Not necessarily Bitcoin.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we already have that right now, which is the dollar.
But no, not every country uses the dollar.
Everything is tied to the world reserve currency.
It's pegged to it, but it's not actually.
It's the same thing that's going to happen to Bitcoin. It'll be pegged to it. Crypto.
But in that case, Bitcoin is not a currency. Bitcoin is just the asset that the actual digital currency is pegged to.
Well, then,
just like how Iran,
you just defeated your own argument.
Okay, well,
of a world reserve of a world currency.
That's what the digital or the stable coin is. That's the world currency.
So you think the whole planet's going to be trading in DAI, for example?
Well, dude, we've already agreed on this. Like, we already understand that Bitcoin isn't. Not as far as we know,
it won't be used as a currency
or a means of exchange. It'll just be it's proving itself to be a good store of value, a digital store of value. And then we kind of like speculated amongst ourselves that well then what do we do? We can easily peg a stable coin, and maybe it hasn't been created yet, or some government might have to do this or something, to the value of Bitcoin in the future. Whenever, like you said, it's a $10 million Bitcoin, there's not much volatility. It's like what today's gold is, essentially.
Yeah.
So there'll be no problem pegging a stable coin to that.
But that defeats your argument that Bitcoin is the world currency.
True. Yeah, 100%.
Like
right.
It can't be because it doesn't make sense.
But blockchain itself is what can facilitate this whole global currency.
It can.
That maybe doesn't exist yet, but it can because of this technology that we're.
It can absolutely can. It's like having a world government where it's completely decentralized, right?
How do you think that could work out?
Well, it can't. Why? Because too many countries, too many different ideologies, and it's more. Everyone is rather compete than cooperate.
Oh yeah.
Why is that the case? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you just can't ignore.
You know what? I know why. Because right now the incentives are in place to compete with each other. There's no incentives to cooperate.
It's true.
Right? The only incentives to cooperate is the scientific community going to Mars, going to the moon. All those, Russia, United States, all those countries have collaborated to go to these places.
But even scientists have to compete against each other because they got to compete for, like, research grants and stuff.
Yeah, but that's completely different. That's like, science doesn't really compete with anything. It just is, right? It's just a discovery of science. There is no competition with science, right? There are scientists competing with each other trying to discover the next thing.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with the actual science of it. And so that's just to say that crypto, you could say that crypto is the world currency. I mean, it will eventually be, but it's not the end times. It's not.
Hey, it could be.
It hasn't been prophesized in any book, and there's no evidence to suggest that anything that's in a book that's 2,000 years old has actually have manifested anything valuable so far.
It's true, but I'm just stating what I know. Like,
so I agree with you in that there's some similarities into what the book says and what's actually happening.
Yeah.
But if you go back 100 years ago, the things that were happening then have exact same similarities in the book.
Yeah,
exact same.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying.
Because everybody has from whenever the Bible incepted, or in the inception of it, every generation read the thing, and previous generations were strongly believers in it.
Our minds,
more than us.
The way that the brain works, it starts making a pattern. It starts identifying similarities about things that we know.
Yeah.
And like that's how our mind works. We're pattern recognition kind of a engine in our heads.
Uh-huh.
And so when things happen in real world, they say, "Hey, that kind of looks like that thing that I read in this book."
Mm-hmm.
But did that book tell you the future? No, it didn't. You're just associating an event and you're fitting the narrative of that book.
Okay.
So it's a purely psychological thing that we do, and it's completely natural. It could even be a self-defense mechanism to kind of understand how shit works, like feel like somebody understands how things work, and therefore, you feel comfortable about why things happen the way they do.
Mm.
Like, for example, the whole gun debate. They're saying that people are shooting each other not because there's a lot of guns in the United States. By the way, there's 400 million of them.
That's more than people.
More than people. But they're not shooting at each other because there's a lot of guns. They're shooting at each other because there's not enough God in the world. Like, what does that have to do with anything?
What they're correlating that to is the mental health problem. Because, of course, there's always been crazy people. There's always going to be those outliers in humanity. But it's not just shooting, dude. It's also like we have a drug epidemic in the country. Like, the depression rate is like skyrocketing. Suicide rates are skyrocketing. In a time in history that, like, I feel like these things shouldn't be happening because life is just so fucking awesome, right?
Well,
as far as like
the only difference between now and maybe I would say give it 30 years. So the things that are happening 30 years ago, like in
the 90s,
mass shootings, they didn't happen as often as they do now. Correct?
No.
So what is the difference between 30 years ago and today?
Technology, I'd say.
Internet, technology.
Right? Also, but technology is also shifted culture.
Yeah,
there's a cause.
And so what I mean is those people that have those mental deficiencies or environmental effects, they can find community among others who have similar environments, who have similar ideologies, who have similar deficiencies in their brain, and therefore they start supporting that thought of, hey, this idea of mass shootings is probably a good idea.
Or this idea of like fuck society, right?
Yeah.
They, like you said, they'll find, and a lot of these shooters are linked to 4chan and 8chan or whatever. This last one was like an 8chan.
Yeah.
Or the last 3 mass shootings, all of them posted like their
ideologies,
their intentions. Like I'm gonna go shoot up this place.
Manifestos.
Exactly. So that's definitely a community. We talked about. I'm almost certain like those sites are gonna at some point are gonna get pulled off the internet.
Well, then they just create a decentralized version.
Exactly.
You can't stop this. Like you just can't.
That's what I was saying. It's kind of, I don't think they should pull it because it's kind of like people should have the freedom to, if they have crazy thoughts in their mind, it sucks because what the result of that is, but we can't. We can't tell somebody what they can and can't talk about, right?
There's an argument to say that they should be able to post things like that because you want to know why. The more that these people post, the more probability there is for a Google search engine to discover a pattern.
Yeah, there should be some kind of algorithm, right? Like I would think like the FBI would develop one or something. But then that would invade everyone's privacy, right?
Well, you're posting it publicly, right? Whatever's public is public. You're not doing a private chat with these people and posting these manifestos and things like that.
Yeah, it's public, but didn't people just throw like a bitch fit because like their public data on Facebook was sold or something like that?
Well, yeah, Cambridge Analytica was accessing data that they weren't supposed to have access to, and because Facebook's, I guess, glitch, they were able to access even more data than they were supposed to, and so they overreached. Yeah,
but I know what you're saying. Yeah, man. But for sure.
So, but there's obviously, I'm not saying technology is the reason for these events. What I'm saying is that because of technology, it provides an additional access point for more information and more communities to be formed, nefarious communities.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's other environmental effects that contribute to these people, right? Poverty, mental health without having access to, or even the knowledge to, even recognize a problem.
Yeah, and a lot of them are doped up on, antidepressants and stuff like that.
That's right. Which are adding to the depression.
Apparently, and it correlates to suicidal thoughts and stuff. So I don't know. I've never taken them, so I don't know exactly what it does to your brain.
I don't know either.
According to the studies, and there's a strong correlation between a lot of these people and the drugs they take. So, but that's another part of the cultural issues is we're so widely accepting of drugging our problems away.
Yeah,
if you're a non-cooperative student in school,
take some Ritalin.
Yeah, drug him up so he falls in line. If you feel a little down after a breakup, go to a doctor and take these drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You have anxiety, take some Xanax.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. Drugs are the solution to everyone's problems.
But think about why that is, though. Because there's an incentive in the medical industry to make money by selling drugs.
Well, they fucking shill this shit all day long on TV. There's like 50% of the commercials are all drug products.
And this topic itself contributes to the anti-vaxxers. Because we know that we're over prescribing drugs to kids and human beings.
Yeah.
And we're able to recognize that over prescribing is contributing to this growing problem.
Yep.
So they take that idea and they apply it to other things. Like maybe I shouldn't get my kid vaccinated because it's making my kids, become autistic
or something like that. Yeah.
And then not only that, this is a good example of the communities. One person has this thought is like maybe these vaccines are creating this autistic, outcome, and so they go and Google that and they find a community where people believe that it's because of vaccines, and so this thing gets out of hand, and it's the same thing for those shooters who start creating a community.
Yeah. That's definitely part of it, man. And that's the thing. There's no single.
Yeah, there's not.
Everybody's looking for that because it's it keeps happening. This is a repetitive events that, and all everyone ends up doing at the end of the day is like thoughts and prayers to the family, and that's it. And nothing ever changes. Obviously, the majority of the people probably think taking away everyone's rights to own firearms is the solution. Seems like the easy solution.
Yeah.
You could logically follow to that. To get to that point, I guess, is if you take away. But then there's problems with that too, because you're creating another black market. That doesn't mean you're never going to get access to guns again. Just like drugs, drugs are not that hard to get.
Yeah,
guns will eventually become. You're giving the narcos another source of revenue by banning weapons. They're going to eventually start manufacturing them and distributing them.
Yeah, you can't really take guns away because of technology. forget the black markets. Technology will give you a gun, like 3D printing gun.
Oh, shit, I didn't even think about that.
So taking guns away is not a solution. There's too many problems, too many environmental effects contributing to this problem that you can't just take guns away and you have solved the problem.
Did you see that Neil deGrasse Tyson tweet? How
yeah,
he
I
got
did.
Shredded for it.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
That was a bad tweet. Neil,
meaning like the timing of it, or just the content?
The content itself.
How come?
In any reality, any point in time, that's a bad tweet.
Why? What? Because the context is
so many.
There's
people
a national debate, right?
Well, so many people are dying, right?
Yeah.
Hundreds of people are dying because of cars. Thousands of people are dying because of heart disease. All kinds of shit.
Yeah.
Right. So there's thousands of people dying. Only 32 people died, last Saturday because of shooting. Right. He's marginalizing, those 32 people. What he didn't really, comprehend in this tweet was those people the 1,000 people that died from heart disease. That was a self-inflicted situation, right? Eating bad, not being healthy, all kinds of stuff contribute to that. Environment, poverty, right? But those 32 people that died from shooting were directly because of two people.
Yeah.
Right? That was the only item in that list that was affected by single individuals. The other ones are complete accidents. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
And so that's why it was a bad tweet.
So what do you think? I think what he's trying to say is that like people are, if you think about this without emotion, people are kind of like overblowing the issue itself. When you're talking about death, I think what he's saying is there's more important threats to our existence, whether or not we're gonna die or not, than mass shooters. I don't know. In a way that it's a pretty rare event. People are. Damn, I feel like we're going too deep into politics now.
Well, yeah, I don't want to have a gun debate because there are too many things that need to be fixed.
Yeah.
In order to even think about solving the problem, right? So but you could say is like, does it really make sense to have a 30-round magazine to be purchasable by civilians? I don't know if that makes sense. Does it make sense to have, semi-automatic assault rifles? Does it make sense? Probably not.
What is the sense of it, though? I was just at a gun range today. I was just shooting guns.
Yeah, if you go to a gun range, you can rent a gun. You can rent a rocket launcher if you want, a machine gun, a Gatling gun, grenades. What you can use that in desired, specified locations. But what are you going to do with a Gatling gun and a rocket launcher and a grenade, outside of those facilities?
I don't think any of those weapons are available to the general public.
Okay, then why?
We're talking about
Then why should assault rifles be available to the public?
Assault rifles.
Why do you need 30-round magazines? Because you need to kill hogs. If you can't kill a hog in 6 rounds, then you should go fishing.
Yeah.
Right?
30-round mags. I guess there's gun advocates always going to use that Second Amendment ability to resist against tyrannical government. That's always going to be it.
Yeah, keep the Second Amendment. Buy a shotgun.
Well, then the people are going to say, I'm not sufficiently capable of protecting myself and my family in case of invasion from a foreign invader, or in case of...
Do you think you think you're going to take on a foreign invader who's
you'll have a higher probability of living than if you had a handgun.
You have a higher probability of living.
Yeah.
But if you put up 100 civilians versus 10 military guys, I don't care from what planet, what country they're from.
That's not true, dude. That's how Americans won the war. Those are mostly like civilians. That's why the Second Amendment is so powerful in our American culture.
Yeah, but you were dealing... At that time, you weren't dealing with machine guns.
That's true.
You weren't dealing with rocket launchers and sniper rifles.
But those were trained military, British.
Yeah, the tools.
Redcoats,
The tools leveled the playing field.
Well, these days, it's completely different. Back then it was muskets, and the military were trained to just line up.
Single shot rifles.
And they were all like in just big lines, easy targets, right? And then the American militia was like, they fight, what's it called, guerrilla style or something like that. It's just, they shoot from all angles and stuff. That's why.
Yeah. The muskets, you aim that way and it goes that way.
Yeah. But the British, I don't know. But I don't know, man. It's a tough debate.
So point is,
and then there's always that thing about, people latch onto the Constitution a lot, which is the old document.
Hasn't been amended in, what, 300 years?
I don't know how long it's been. It's been a fucking while, though. But if you think about it, it's kind of like, think about crypto, dude. How often, like, these crypto communities have, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they don't agree on an issue, so they fork or something. Or
oh, yeah.
There's
consensus.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what I'm driving at, but I guess what I'm driving at is should we update our motherfucking Constitution, to modern times? There's a lot of issues nowadays that we can't address because of this 300-year-old document. But then again, I don't know, man. That's patriotism.
So here's the tweet. Did you want to say something about it?
No, I was just wondering what you thought. I mean, I don't think people are attacking or fair in attacking him. I see his point.
How is this not a bad tweet?
Okay, I'm going to read it completely. In the past 48 hours, the USA horrifically lost 34 people to mass shootings. I don't think he's used the word horrifically there. That's not marginalizing. He's empathizing.
Okay, and then
34 people what on average across any 48 hours, we also lose that. Okay, 500 to medical errors, 300 to the flu, 250 to suicide, 200 car accidents, and 40 to homicide via handgun. Often our emotions respond more to spectacle than to data. That last part is 100% true. Where's the outcry for all these inner city violent incidents that are happening every single day? There's tons of people getting shot, but nobody gives a fuck. As soon as the spectacle of the news coverage of these mass shootings hits the public eye.
Here's the difference: the efficiency to the kill rate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kill to death ratio in a video game.
Yeah,
right. If you kill 30 people and you died twice, that's a pretty good kill to death ratio.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, in this world, when you're killing 10 people in under 30 seconds versus your 500 medical errors in the last 48 hours, this has to deal with 500 people. This has to deal with 300 people of a flu that nobody can control. 250 suicides, that's 250 people involved in the suicide. 200 car accidents, that's 200 car accidents, right? That's 200 people at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And 40 homicide, there's the efficiency here is not there. 34 people died because of 2 people with their machine guns. That's the problem with this tweet. Is that this statistic doesn't fall in line with this.
I don't know.
You don't agree with that?
34 people in mass shootings. But then you have to read that very last line. Often our emotions respond more to spectacle than to data. What you're talking about, the fact that there's 2 people accumulated a death count of 34.
Mm-hmm.
That's the spectacle that you and everybody else is buying into.
If he's merely pointing out that our attention is focused on the efficiency of the kill to time ratio.
Yeah, our emotions.
I agree with the tweet.
Exactly. They're too emotional about it. And
the thing is,
because it's dangerous to enact policy based on emotion. That's what everybody wants to act as immediately after these things happen. Everyone's yelling at the president and Congress to do fucking something. Well, that's not the right thing to do. You gotta actually
but how many
analyze
times,
things.
How many times has this happened?
True. I mean, and people have a reason to be outraged because it's actually having a psychological effect in our country now. I don't know if you saw what happened in New York City.
New York, yeah, hell yeah.
Some motorcycle misfires pop, pop, pop. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
They do sound like gunshots.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, dude.
Especially the echoes and everything. It sounds like even more gunshots.
Yeah, I think it was downtown New York City.
Yeah.
And everyone just went running.
Yep.
Back in the day, that probably never would have happened. But nowadays, everyone's got it built into their heads, fuck. You got to run as soon as you hear something that sounds like a gunshot.
Mm-hmm.
You never know anymore, dude. It's just part of our... So what do? Do we just continue living and this is just a normal part of our, because this shit ain't going away.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the no return zone's already been breached. It's over.
Yeah.
So do we just accept it? This is just a.
Well, obviously, there's things we can do.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not going to make everybody happy, but
no.
The point is to not necessarily run away every time you hear a motorcycle, backfire.
Well, how do you fix that? You can't. That's just like,
what? As time goes on, if the rate of mass shootings goes down,
it won't. I don't think.
Well, that's the point. We have to figure out how to do that.
I agree. I don't know what it is. So what do you think?
Well, there's too many things. There's too many things to fix. There's a stratification of the poverty, like the difference between the rich people and the poor people has starting to grow. Like I guess the.
But I wouldn't so much correlate, income or whatever to these mass shooters. A lot of them come from like well-off families, and
Well, it's
more of
so it's a psychological effect. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's not that somebody has more money than you. It's that you feel like you can never, start competing with people who have more resources than you do, and it's this self-defeating mental state of mind that people get into that start hating, that's society.
That's like nihilism, right? That's like
right.
the philosophical term. It's just doom and gloom about everything, and I'm a victim of my existence, essentially. So
like it's always somebody else is the reason why I'm here and the reason why I'm like this.
Yeah.
And
so it's somebody who has an unstable mind, their conclusion is to like
act out,
fight back.
Yeah.
Or just end it. Like, fuck it. If I'm going to go out, I don't know why they make that connection. Before, people just kill themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, these mentally ill people, they want to take people with them. That's a new phenomenon that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I think it has to be totally driven by media, like the fame and the hype they get for doing what they do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Obviously, it started with Columbine,
Yeah, that was in what, 2000? Oh,
I don't know.
1990.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, something like that.
And then it's just like slowly been, it's like exponential growth or something. I don't know. But it's something to think about, man.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with crypto, but this is an actual issue.
Yeah, I don't know how many people want to hear about this stuff.
Everybody's talking about it. It's kind of like we bit into it somehow.
Yeah, I don't even know how we got here.
I don't either.
But yeah, I think.
But about that Bitcoin though.
Yeah, a segue to something less tragic, I guess.
Yeah, we've been talking about like the end of the world.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think
this is a depressing podcast. This is not a happy one. I don't know. I wish, but me. I've been saying this for the whole time, dude. I'm like a pessimist, a cynic, whatever the fuck. I assume the worst in things for some reason.
See, it's like what's the line that Elon says? Is that
I'd
rather be optimistic and wrong than pessimistic and right.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be that guy just like bringing everybody down with his doom and gloom.
Yeah, because it's.
But he used to be that guy. He's the one who fucking brought up the AI like threat and
because
made everyone aware
it's
of
a real threat. It's like bringing up, hey, uranium 235 can actually explode pretty big. We should probably regulate that.
Yeah. No, it's true. This is the thing. Like, we're rolling the dice on this technology. Nobody knows the outcome of it, and it's completely.
And his solution is to join the biological brain with artificial intelligence.
I think that's gonna be way more difficult. I don't think he'll be able to solve that in time. Like, AI will get here way before like our bionic merge with technology. I feel like.
You're probably right.
I think
you're probably right.
Know. I don't know.
But that's the thing. If artificial general intelligence, AGI, if it gets here, it's not even exponential growth. It's far higher than that.
I don't even know. So what? At that point, it's just like machines can improve on themselves. Is that how it works? Pretty much. Like they don't no longer need us anymore.
So basically, it can make decisions without human input,
and their decisions are going to be purely based on data and not. Like,
it could be based on like its goal is to. You could say AGI improve life on Earth, and then it accesses the internet. It figures out, it looks like humans are the reason why Earth is destroying itself. So let me eliminate humans. So it starts creating these deep fakes of.
It'll follow the same logical steps that we did, right? As humans, whenever we developed intelligence, or
see, but at a rate much faster.
Yeah, much faster.
We won't even know what hit us.
Yeah, we came to these conclusions of like, at first it was all just survival, right, as humans, and then over time we figured out tools, and then we developed governments, whatever the fuck.
It took decades, centuries.
It took a long time for all of us to get to this point. But I guess if you create a true artificial intelligent thinking machine, whatever, I'm assuming it's going to get to the point where it's going to want to improve itself, or just like we do. Our whole purpose in life is to progress. I feel like humanity.
but the thing is for AGI, the rate of improvement is so vastly faster.
Yeah. So you're right, and Elon's right. Like, who knows what they're going to calculate? Like, in order, if the ultimate goal for even their existence is to improve, like, then they might figure out, like, humanity is a barrier for us to achieve our goals. So I don't know if it's truly intelligent. It should be able to form its own decisions, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Again, Stephen Hawking was right.
No, that's the end of the world right there. If we don't have a handle on AGI.
What the fuck would they do, though?
Well, Elon's working on one solution. It may not be the right one, but it's at least one.
How could AI just, like, kill us all?
Well, it'll use us against each other.
You said, like, deep fakes.
Yeah. Making fake articles. Kind of like what the Russian government did to Facebook in the election.
Yeah. Interesting. But anyways.
Yeah. I want to see, the Binance hack.
Yes.
So there's some residual effects to the Binance hack. So I think in a couple of months ago, I think it was in February, a hacker accessed 7,000 Bitcoin or stole 7,000 Bitcoin from Binance. And luckily, funds are Seifu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody got their money back.
Yeah.
But the hacker also allegedly stole KYC information. And it could have been through their third-party service provider that does the KYC that leaked this information. But apparently this hacker has been talking to CoinDesk. And so the hacker had also tried to negotiate with Binance for some reward to keep the data from leaking. And so negotiations fell through, and then all of a sudden these pictures started showing up. Which is an issue with identity, the fact that we have to share our identity multiple times.
Yeah.
And so once you share your identity multiple times, you have multiple times that you can get affected through a hack.
So what's the danger if one of these hackers, they get access to the KYC information is basically whenever you took a selfie of yourself holding up your driver's license or passport that has your name, your address. You had to write your social on an actual piece of paper too, I think, right?
Whoa.
Did we? Maybe not. Oh, no, I think we just wrote the date, like today's date on the piece of paper.
Yeah, there's a date here.
Yeah. Okay, because I did this. I had to in order to get. There's like levels in Binance, so how much you can withdraw daily.
Yeah.
Daily amount. At some point, I needed to upgrade to a level 2 account, and then they made me take a picture of a blank piece of paper with the date written on it, with my ID in my other hand, with my face. So that's a lot of shit. But all that information, I sent it to them, and they stored it somewhere. And this motherfucking guy got access to it. So what? Essentially, he's threatening to just make all this information public or something?
Yeah. So
what could happen with all that?
What can happen is somebody can steal your identity at places that don't require so much information about you. Right. If a place requires a picture, like to do this same thing, like a picture, your ID, and a piece of paper, yeah, the hacker might not be able to do anything about it. But if a loan only requires a name and your information on your driver's license, then yeah, they can get a loan out of your name.
And then I'm obligated, or
well, then you got to fight it.
Yeah. I mean, sure if I could prove that my identity was stolen, I don't have to pay a penny, right? It's just
potentially
a hassle I have to go through, I'm assuming. Or, like, it'd be good if you're in the United States and you use, like, someone's from China's identity to participate in ICOs or something like that. That could work out.
No, absolutely. So the issue here is that we have to keep sharing our identity in a very insecure way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like in order to participate in Binance, you had to trust them with that's precious information.
Well, it's not even only Binance. I mean, Coinbase,
all these exchanges.
Gemini, all these exchanges require KYC.
Yeah.
And there's very few places that don't require KYC. I think one is called localbitcoins.com. Another one's HODL, but that's not even available to U.S. citizens.
Yeah. But so, this brings up the question, like you said.
Like, what's the solution?
Is there a solution?
I don't know if there is a solution to this because it's extremely difficult.
Yeah, because right now, again, our current system it's all the infrastructure that's laid out is fucking grandfathered in a way by government. You know, there's so many people working like behind the scenes for our I guess our identity management. I don't know. Our paper ID, you know, you got to go to the fucking post office if you lose your driver's, or not post office, to the DMV or whatever if you lose your driver's license.
Yeah. But going to the DMV is the equivalent of getting your private key, your identity, your blockchain identity hacked.
Say that again? Going to the DMV.
If you lose your ID,
you
have to go to the DMV.
It's like losing your key.
It's like losing your key.
It's like if you lose your key to your ledger, you got to like hit up the company like, hey.
Well, no.
What?
The ledger, if you lose your key to your ledger, like if the ledger doesn't have your private key.
Okay, if you lose your ledger then
you better make sure you have your 24-word seed values.
Okay.
Yeah, ledger doesn't have your private key. It doesn't know your private key. It doesn't know how to generate your private key. It doesn't know anything.
Okay.
So if you don't have your seed values like on a piece of paper,
I have it. It's like 20-something terms or something like
24,
that.
24, yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
So if you lose your ledger, you can go buy a new one, input those 24 words, it'll generate your private keys for you, and then everything's back to normal. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's the danger with private keys. They can give you power, but you can also lose that power pretty quickly if you're not careful.
Yeah. Well, not everything's perfect.
No, for sure. And I mean, this is a very difficult problem. So one of the OG companies called Civic has their version of a solution, which they tie your identity to a block in the chain.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they do that is you type in your basic information, like your name, your birth date, social security number. You type it all in, right? You create an identity, an online identity. And so they hash this version, this identity of you. They hash it, and that hash gets stored on the blockchain. And that hash, which means that hash is associated to a public key, where your private key resides in this Civic application on your phone. And so what this does is whenever you're trying to go to Binance or Coinbase and they ask you for your KYC, you can give them your Civic account, your Civic sort of identity. And so what they do is they send you a challenge to your phone app. You sign that challenge with your private key, and they go and make sure that your identity is verified on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is one way. It's a good way because it's using your onboard biometrics on your phone and all that stuff. Problem is you're storing your private key on your phone in an app. And of course they say everything's encrypted, and I'm sure it is. It's just if something goes wrong, you're losing your identity. And then the other problem is everyone has to adopt Civic, right?
Yeah,
in a perfect world, it would be the government, it would be Coinbase, everybody. That way, which is good in a way because you don't have to share your KYC data to every single company in the world, right? They just make sure that you're you, and they go and verify that on the blockchain by sending you a challenge and you signing that challenge with your private key, and there you go. You have a blockchain identity.
So,
and so if this gets recognized by the government, let's say this they agree Civic is the way to provide identities of the 21st century.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could get out. You can get a loan, a home loan, a car loan with your Civic identity, because that is sort of like a government issued identity, right? It's just digitally issued.
Yeah, and all this information is stored.
It's just hashed. It's not really stored anywhere. It's just hashed, and that hash exists on the blockchain, and that hash is associated to a public key. So whenever you get that loan, they say, "Hey, what's your public key?" You give it to them, and then they send a challenge, a message for your phone to sign to make sure that you're actually Iman.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it's very efficient because it doesn't require hardware. It doesn't require, it just requires a cell phone. It's the equivalent of a bank account that no longer requires a physical presence, right? Like crypto gives you the ability to bank in the crypto world. You become in other words, you become an international banker just with an app with crypto. And so what this does is it provides you a digital identity that, if hopefully everyone accepts, like all the companies accept, then you don't have to share your actual identity with anybody. You just have to prove that you're actually Iman by signing a transaction.
Mm-hmm. So you never really... Okay, so if this information here isn't stored on the blockchain, where is it stored?
So that information does exist, and it's stored in your phone, encrypted. But
okay.
That information, for the purposes of like interacting with companies, like let's say you were using Civic to do your KYC at Binance.
The benefit is you don't actually have to
send that information to Binance.
It's for them to hold.
Yeah, for them to hold.
Yeah.
Right, you're holding it within your phone app.
But the app is Civic, right?
The app is Civic.
Yeah. So then Civic is holding all this information.
Well, no.
No?
The company Civic is not holding anything.
No?
So if you hack Civic, you get no pictures. You don't get anything.
Okay. So the only way to get your personal data is to personally hack somebody.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is great, right? Because that eliminates the whole...
Yeah. If you become that billionaire crypto guy and you're using Civic, there's a huge incentive to hack you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to take the proper precautions to avoid getting hacked or prevent getting hacked.
Yeah. No, it definitely makes things easier for sure, and it eliminates central points of attack, I guess. For
sure. This is
like these people. That sucks. Whenever like these mass hacks go down, there's like 500,000 people.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, all their information is.
Yeah. If Binance was using Civic, they would have stolen the 7,000 Bitcoin, but they wouldn't have stolen anybody's identity because it doesn't exist over there.
Yeah.
But in this case, they used a third-party provider, collect everybody's KYC. They didn't do a good enough job of protecting that infrastructure.
So the first step, though, would have to be, like, government would have to adopt this in order for anything else to work. That's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's a tough one.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not seeing a whole lot of companies adopting Civic. I don't know why. It's a very basic idea. It's very simplistic. It's using hashing, cryptography.
Yeah.
And it's saying this private key now is your identity. When you sign things with this private key, that means you are signing as if you are Iman.
Yeah.
Like you're the only Iman in the world.
Uh-huh.
And that uniqueness is represented by this private key. So now companies would need to accept that, which they can. I mean, this is just straight math, right? Hashing, cryptography, public and private keys. This is
couldn't you just
blockchain 101?
They can't just accept it, right? Because then anybody could just input anybody's information right now.
Here's I understand why Civic may not be getting adopted by companies. And it's because of regulation.
Okay.
So hear me out. So if you're a United States company and you have to abide by regulatory KYC, AML practices, you have to have like actual IDs. You have to actually know who is doing these transactions. So you have to collect everybody's ID, pictures, social security numbers, all that stuff. That has to reside within your network.
Yeah.
To follow the regulation. Now, if regulation gets updated and say, well, you can either do this or you can use Civic, then Civic will take off. But at this point, it hasn't because of regulation. So that makes sense.
Yeah, regulation is the barrier to a lot of crypto. So,
I mean, this is cool. It's just so many things have to go right for this to be used.
I wonder how many competitors there are these days for this. Civic's the only one I've heard of, but this is obviously it's a good application, good use case for blockchain technology.
Yeah,
we talked about it before. Just even being able to vote, this would help a lot for that.
Yeah, for sure.
If there's like a decentralized voting platform, and all you have to do is log in using your Civic account or whatever.
Yeah, simple
as that. All of a sudden, you're registered to vote. There you go. Avoid all these long lines.
Yeah, I think so. We were going through like a hashing kind of
kind of trying to understand what hashing is.
I don't know if we want to go into all that stuff again. Another one, a couple of the cryptocurrencies we were talking about was Anchor and Dusk.
Yeah, those are some Binance recently listed Binance projects. Why they're worthy being paying attention to? I mean, just because recently they've been seeing price increases while everything else has been pretty much stagnant or doing nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, Anchor you could tie up to. There's like a trading competition going on right now. And
is that why it went up?
I would think so.
Well, Dusk went up 50%. I don't know why.
Good question. I don't know either. But these are very low market cap volatile coins, right? It doesn't take much volume for them to go up that much.
Yeah, I think Anchor's what?
15 million.
15 million?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 15.7.
I think Dusk is even lower than that, but Dusk is it's around 10 million.
Yeah.
Dusk is a security token, I think blockchain, which we've talked about a lot before, how important security tokens are going to be. But they're currently, the problems with security tokens, just like you said about with identity, there's just so much regulation involved to offer security tokens. So these projects are trying to streamline, I guess, the process and make it quicker and easier for, STO offerings.
Yeah.
So as of right now, there's really no de facto platform yet to do that. They're just
you know what it might be? It might be just someone building off the Ethereum blockchain.
To do what?
To do STOs.
Yeah, that's what Polymath was supposed to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I guess they decided they needed their own independent blockchain specifically built for that purpose. Because, they pretty much axed. They didn't axe it, Polymath, but they announced that they're going to work with Charles Hoskinson to build a new blockchain specifically for STOs, which is what Dusk is, So there's already something out here that just recently entered the market, something to look at and pay attention to, see what they're doing.
Yeah.
What separates them from another STO platform like Ravencoin.
Yeah.
It's an important sector, like crypto sector, to pay attention to, because the applications the security tokens themselves won't be like, super good investments to invest in because there won't be much volatility there. But whichever platform,
who supports them,
whoever becomes the Ethereum of STOs, essentially, just how Ethereum facilitated like an ICO boom.
Yeah.
which one of these platforms are, focused on STOs will do that.
I think
that's going to be your
security tokens will have a sort of like a reserved hype to it. It won't be as crazy as ICO was.
Yeah.
Because security tokens have to be regulated.
Yeah. And like I said, the volatility won't be there. Like every ICO is blowing out of control.
Yeah.
So not only was Ethereum skyrocketing, but the products it was producing were, going. Dude, yeah, it was a perfect storm.
Yeah, for sure.
That ICO mania. So yeah, you won't see that. I don't think STOs, because what they are essentially are actual asset-backed.
Yeah,
tokens.
Yeah, securities.
Yeah,
which I believe the SEC has global access, like global,
like jurisdiction.
Yeah,
to like regulate. I don't know if it's global or not, but they definitely locked down pretty good here, in the United States.
Yeah,
they got this shit on lock.
Well, I think by global jurisdiction is if like you go to. You do these like illegal security tokens, and then you go to China, like they can still go after you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, even if they do it like under the books, I'm sure they'll still do it. SEC, they always find a way.
Yeah, they do. They're like the IRS. You can't really avoid them.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is something to pay attention to. This new stuff. Not much going on in the altcoin space.
Yeah, it's
like I said,
dead.
It's stagnant and dead. Like
let's look up coin market cap and look at the Bitcoin dominance.
Yeah, it's only getting bigger and bigger.
70%.
Yeah,
69.1.
So yeah, 69.1 Bitcoin dominance. So remember what I said a few weeks back when everyone was calling for altcoin season?
Yeah,
never happened.
It's not gonna happen. Not until after 20K.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, not until there's actual, because again, altcoins are essentially, Ethereum products, and everyone's lost faith in that. I feel
they haven't lost faith in it in the sense that they're abandoning it. It's more of like Bitcoin. Everyone believes Bitcoin is going to go to 100,000, so they're like, all right, let's load up.
That's because like Bitcoin has the most easy to understand use case, and obviously
it's the one everybody talks about. The whole world talks about it.
Yeah, and it's the first one, and it's been here the longest. So the easiest, even though it's really difficult to understand, it's the easiest to understand. I feel like out of
every
other altcoin, because every other altcoin is either like a wannabe Bitcoin. They're trying to improve on it by throwing their own spin on it. So that adds an element of some new element to understand. Or it's just an entirely different thing, period. Like, they're not trying to be a store of value. They're trying to be something else. Like again, Civic, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Decentralized identity. Everything has... I don't know. It's just tough.
Yeah.
It's tough for altcoins in these days, man.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not like it was back in 2017 where, like, anything. You propose anything as long as it had the word blockchain in it. It's like, whoa, revolutionary shit.
Yeah, what was that company? Was it Coca-Cola or Levi's or one of those companies that had nothing to do with blockchain? They said they appended blockchain as part of their name, and then all of a sudden their stock went up like 30%.
I remember that.
And then they got hit with like insider trading or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a second there where I thought there was going to be some kind of like stock market mania too. Because that wasn't like a solo event. There's other companies just changing themselves to Blockchain Inc.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were going up like 300, 600%. I was like, holy shit. Like, it's happening, man. All the things I heard about the .com boom.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
And that was happening in 2017.
Yeah, but it didn't last too long because that happened towards the very end of the bull market.
But imagine, think about 2017 was going up to 20,000. And that euphoria phase that we keep talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Once we get past 20,000, every single 10K after that is going to be pure euphoria. You don't think?
I don't think so.
No?
No, because
I guess not. Because
equate 20,000 today to 1,000 in 2017. There was no euphoria whenever Bitcoin hit 1,000.
Well, I think the all-time high before the 20,000 was like $3,000.
Before what?
Before it hit.
No, because I'm correlating. Okay, like in 2017 when Bitcoin hit like $1,200, that's when it broke 2013's all-time high, Mount Gox. Remember?
Okay,
it was like $1,200-$1,300. So in 2017, it finally broke through that previous all-time high, around $1,000. I was like,
and there was no euphoria after that.
There wasn't even. That was still like smart money phase if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know, there was no retail involvement. There was no media coverage until Bitcoin entered that like 5,000 range. That's when people started around Thanksgiving, around 5K. People started paying attention.
That's
so
crazy.
I'm thinking, if 20K is that 1K, then people won't give a fuck until we hit 100K.
That's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that logic.
That's probably why people are. Yeah, all I'm doing is retracing history, right?
Yeah,
I'm assuming, if not exact history, will be then something similar along those lines, right? I don't know why it happens that way. It just does.
That's true.
But then that's my case for more than likely Bitcoin will probably see like 200 to 300,000.
So with that logic,
peak of that euphoria.
Once it hits 20,000 and it goes to like 25, 30,000, it's still a good time to buy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's really,
sort of like when
if you believe in these tenets or in these speculations, you know, then yeah, there's no bad time to buy, dude. As long as you're holding out for that next bull peak.
Yeah, makes sense. I agree with that. I can't really argue with that, because I would think that once it reached that $1,200 in 2017, that people would just be going crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was people. There wasn't euphoria, I'm pretty sure like there was probably some headlines on CNBC and stuff like that, but small articles here and there.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, look where we are right now, dude. We're at fucking 12K, and like, I mean, I guess people are starting to talk about it, but not like the general public still is not even like aware.
Yeah, they're not.
They don't care. Yeah. I don't know what caused that. I guess it was just they heard like, you know, people were getting rich off of Bitcoin, and that spread.
Yeah,
I guess
the whole Lambo meme.
Yeah, the whole culture of crypto. That's what it was, dude. Do you remember like they were having like crypto conferences and all these fucking assholes showing up in Lambos?
Yeah,
and shit? That's the culture, man. So it was very alluring, I guess.
Yeah,
pull people in. Look at this, man. It's still hovering around 1950. Jesus. I mean, to me, that looks like it's just going to break out any minute.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think. I would think. I don't know. It just doesn't. I mean, I'm based on absolutely nothing.
Yeah. No,
that's just what I think.
It's like Kaiser. He thinks it's going to go to $15,000.
Yeah, I mean, that guy, I don't know.
It could. Remember when it broke 12,000 and then it went to 13 and then 14 and like within a couple of days?
Yeah. That was a little nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I think that covers all our topics today. I think
a little bit.
We went probably too deep into the gun stuff, but
you gonna leave all that in?
Well, yeah,
might as well, right? It's part of the talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're a crypto podcast, but every now and then, like real world shit, you know, hits. I don't know.
Well, it's always interesting to hear everybody's like your thoughts on like what you think is causing the problems. Well, what are the solutions?
See, that's the thing, man. It like politics is so much harder to talk about.
Other updates. Joe Rogan had a podcast with Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
and
if you want to stay engaged with the race,
yeah,
definitely check out these podcasts. It's way better format than the shit you see on TV. How they put them all in a line.
Yeah.
They give them 30 seconds to speak on each topic. It's
bullshit.
Nobody can make a strong argument for anything in 30 seconds, dude.
Yeah, it's a spectacle. It's to talk shit about each other and who's the funniest and whoever gets the most coverage, the most wow factor,
essentially, right?
Wins. And then Andrew Yang was on H3's podcast.
H3, which is pretty much our guy.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll have a math hat here somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to donate to his campaign with Lightning Network.
Yeah, we got to make that video too.
Yeah, we'll probably make a YouTube video about it, just in case anybody. Not only if you want to contribute to his campaign and get that sweet math hat, but also just learn how to use or access the Lightning Network. 'Cause I don't even know how to do that. I've heard so much about it, but
yeah,
the Yang campaign apparently set up like a Lightning. I guess it's where you can accept Lightning payments. So
yep,
it's a good chance to participate and see how it works.
Yep.
Also, he's the only candidate who supports like crypto regulation, and he wants to make cryptocurrencies like not so mysterious anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why he gets our support, I think.
Yeah.
Among other things.
Yeah.
UBI.
Yeah. Artificial intelligence.
Yeah, his awareness of like mental health.
Yeah.
I really liked what he said about how he wants to like, because how we grade ourselves is basically by GDP. He wants to like wipe that whole concept and involve like mental health.
Yeah, align the
education.
incentives. Like what do you want in a society? Healthy people. You want, mentally healthy as well. Food. What's your poverty level?
All that, like not just And then he said every year at his presidential, speech where he goes to Congress and he gives a speech to the public, he would have like a PowerPoint on and just like go over all his statistics, like what we're good at, what we're bad at.
Yeah.
That to me sounds not only hilarious, but it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
That way people can actually, it's not just like some rehearsed bullshit speech that all presidents give. He's actually going over data. What's more important than that?
Reminds me of Donald Trump when he was talking about the shootings.
Oh, yeah?
He referred to one of the locations of the shooting as Toledo instead of Dayton.
I saw that.
What's funny? I happened to be at a place where they had regular television on, right? And on that regular television, they were showing Fox. And they showed that segment.
Fox or Fox News? Like just
one
Fox?
Of those.
Just Fox.
Yeah, one of those. Fox News. So they showed Donald Trump, doing that speech. And what do you know? They completely cut that out.
It was probably Fox News.
They didn't even mention it. They didn't even mention that he made a mistake. Like it was as if it didn't happen.
Yeah. No, there's definitely media bias, just like how there's bias in social media too. There's 100% confirmed bias in like television media.
Yeah.
It's like so obvious that it hurts.
Yeah.
You can't even watch it because it's
useless information.
Yeah. If you want news, you want it to be an unbiased source.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where the fuck you're gonna get that from.
Well, the internet, right?
Not even like so I'm saying the internet.
Well, people are biased, yes.
Yeah.
But you'll find the information, right?
It's definitely better than the TV for sure.
You'll get to decide on your own based on the information.
Yeah, hopefully. But it's definitely not as like that's a good example right there of media spin.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I'm pretty sure like CNN and NBC like were showing that clip all day long, just to reinforce like how fucked up, how much of a mistake he made, just to make him look bad.
I want to try to find a video, and I want to get your like reaction from it.
All right.
Oh, here we go.
God. Fucking noose. Why is he walking around with a noose?
So it's because he's a kid, right? He put a string around his neck. He forgot about it.
Joke?
Yeah, and it wasn't a joke. It was like a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Right. So he just put a string around his neck. He wasn't thinking about it. And so he walks into this elevator and he gets, hung. He's basically
Did he live?
being hung. Oh yeah, he's fine.
Fuck. Dude, that was fucking violent. Like how fast he got sucked up, like or pulled up like that.
Yeah, that's right.
How did it stop? Like how did it not just like cut through his fucking neck?
I don't know. I think she was pressing buttons there and paused the elevator.
Damn,
and then
she reacted good.
And I think anytime the elevator feels resistance more like with like pounds of resistance, it just stops.
That's good.
But anyway, so who was the wrong here?
Who's in the wrong?
Yeah, who was in the wrong?
That to me just looked like a freak accident.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, because when I first saw this, I was looking at some of the comments, and they're like, "How could she do that? If you're the parent, you got to be watching your kid and all this stuff."
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's people. Their emotions is the first thing to respond.
That's right.
Just like that. That's why Neil deGrasse Tyson put out that tweet.
That's right.
People need to learn how to recognize when they're too overly emotional about things. Like, step back, take some breaths and like think about it. You know?
Yeah, and turns out these were 3 kids. That was the oldest sister with her 2 little brothers.
Oh, that wasn't even the mom.
That wasn't even her mom.
Everyone just shitting on her.
And so the older sister actually saved her brother.
Yeah. Totally.
But you know, they were all of them are kids, right?
Yeah.
And so they were just not paying attention. Kids were being kids.
Yeah,
they put something around their neck, and it just happens.
Yeah, like that's to me. It's you can't. I wouldn't put blame on anybody. It's just a freak occurrence.
Yeah,
shit like that happens. You know, when sometimes kids, like if a kid like has like a fucking mouth fetish with things, he puts a toy in his mouth and swallows it, gets lodged in his esophagus.
Yeah.
Well, who's to blame? Like, you know, blame the mom because she left like I don't know, like a penny on the table or something. It's just, it happens, man. So, I don't know. So
yeah, I just wanted to see, you know, how you would react because some people were like blowing this way out of proportion. Even though this is, man, if you see the video, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, that was actually kind of hard to watch. Just because of how violently he got picked up by that rope, dude. Like, shit.
Yeah, it was nothing, man. It was just...
I mean, he is like a little kid, right?
Yeah. But still getting picked up by the neck. Oof. I mean, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still living. I guess the girl saved him. That's crazy. I've seen shit like that with dogs before.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah.
Like some, you know... For some reason, a dog will walk in with a leash that owner's not holding on to, and then just sucks them up.
Yep. So. Yeah. Well, on that positive note.
Random watch people die clip at the
end. Yes, thank you for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe on the podcast on YouTube. Also, go to Apple Podcasts and rate us there as well.
iTunes, right?
iTunes, correct.
Oh yeah, dude. We need more positive reviews.
And
leave an honest review. I don't even
yeah. Honest reviews. Whether it's good or bad, I don't care.
Let us know.
Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, we can sit here and just keep jabbering about all kinds of different things, but we hit the 2-hour mark, so we'll leave it for next week.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Thank you for listening and watching.
Peace.